This is what I call chord inversion study number 1, okay? Please grab that. We're going to get started, and this will help you kind of get your chord soloing ideas down on the top 4 strings of the guitar. You can move it to the middle 4 to the next 4. I like to start on the top 4, almost like I'm playing the ukulele. So again, hopefully this is a good review for you. If it's new for you, then you're going to learn a lot today. So this is chord inversion study number 1. Okay. So typically, I like to often show this shape first. This is just a G major chord coming from the F shape, coming from the E shape, right? So here's the E open chord, but here's a G chord here. So if we took only the top 4 strings, it would look like this. Root, 3rd, 5th, root, octave. So what we're going to do is take this note here, and we're going to, the root, and we're going to lower it so it's a major 7. So that's the first shape on there, is G major 7, by taking the root and lowering it to the octave, or to the major 7. Okay, now we're going to flat that so it's a dominant 7. Now we're going to flat the 3rd so it's a minor 7. Now we're going to flat the 5th, so it's a minor 7 flat 5. Then we're going to take the flat 7 here, and we're going to lower that so it's a double flat 7. But I often just call it a 6, and that's a dim 7. So that's the routine. That's with the root on the top. This helps you so much when we're doing chord melody studies. And today, again, I'm going to walk you through the chord melody soloing worksheet for Autumn Leaves and how to practice it. Okay, I know there's some prerequisites, like, I gotta master these shapes first, and that's why I'm working with you on this first. G major 7, G7, G minor 7, G minor 7 flat 5, and of course, G dim 7. Okay. Again, that's with the root on top. So before we move on to the next one, which is the 3rd on top, let's do C major 7. So I instantly went to the 8th fret on the 1st string because that's where the root is. And so this is very important when you need to know whether the top note is the root 3rd or the 5th of the chord when you're doing chord melody. Okay, and that's kind of what this is all about. So here's C on top. Here's that C major 7 shape. C dominant 7. Go through the routine. C minor 7. C minor 7 flat 5, and C dim 7. Okay, one more. E flat, ready? Go right here. E flat major 7, E flat dominant 7, E flat minor 7, E flat minor 7 flat 5. These shapes should become automatic pretty soon for you, and the dim 7. I recommend that you do it in this order. These are just the 7th chords. A 7th chord, the minor 7 can also be called a major 6 relative, and the minor 7 flat 5 can also be called a minor 6 relative, but we're not going to talk about that today. In this, we're going to stay focused on this. So now let's do the next one, the really important one, the 3rd on top. The 3rd on top is so beautiful. That's a lot of what we're doing for Autumn Leaves and a lot of these jazz standards. So I instantly went to this B. That's the 3rd on top. And I'm using this G major 7 shape. This comes from the D shape. See, if I did it like this, that's this guy. Slid up, here's G. And down here, just to show you where it's coming from, D, here's major 7. Here's 7. Here's minor 7. Here's minor 7 flat 5. That's where it's coming from. So G major 7, G dominant 7. We're going to flat the 3rd, minor 7. Now we're going to flat the 5th, so it's minor 7 flat 5. And now we're going to flat the 7 again, so it's a double flat 7 or a 6. And it's going to be that same dim 7 shape as it was 3 frets below on the root. Okay, that's how you'll know if you're ending up on the right one. Let's do that one again. Major 7, dominant 7, minor 7, minor 7 flat 5, and the dim 7. Again, this is with the third on top. And notice the third for major and dominant, it's a B natural. But for the minor 7, it's a B flat. For the minor 7 flat 5, it's a B flat. For the dim 7, it's a B flat. Those have a flat 3. So yes, it's very important that you know your formulas, okay? All right, so let's do C major 7. Okay. C dominant 7. So now I've got the E on top. C minor 7, got to flat it. C minor 7 flat 5, and C dim 7. Again, we want to get it so you do this routine so it becomes very automatic. You don't have to think about what shape or what note do I flat. If you do this enough, and I do recommend that you say it to yourself so that you get the chord name associated with what you're doing. Meaning this: major 7, dominant 7, minor 7 flat 5, fully dim 7. Okay. So we've got the root and the third on the top. On the top, that's the soprano voice, I always say, where the melody note is. Now we're gonna have the fifth. This one's really a cool shape. The fifth of G is D, so I'm on the 10th fret on the first string. And here's the shape that goes with that, major 7, okay? Dominant 7, we're gonna flat the 7. Now we're gonna flat the third here, B to B flat, it's minor 7. Now we're gonna flat the fifth, the first string. Okay, because remember the fifth is on top, so we're flatting it. And then dim 7, flatting the F to the F to E natural. It really should be called an F double flat if you wanted to be theoretical about it in a textbook, but most people will just say an E. Okay, let's do that again. G major 7, G dominant 7, G minor 7, G minor 7 flat 5, G fully dim 7. And yes, the fully dim 7 is the same shape as 3 frets below and then 3 frets below that. Many of you already know that you can slide a diminished 7th chord around every 3 frets and it just inverts itself. And that's one of what Pat Martino says, one of the automatic things on the guitar is. Okay. And that's a very important thing to know, especially for substitutions, which is in my autumn leaves study number 2. Okay, now we've got the root on top of the G, we've got the third on top, and we've got the fifth on top. Now we're gonna add the 7th on top, and that's a G major 7 up here. Okay. So here's a G triad, by the way. Here's G major 7. Okay, now major 7, we're gonna flat the 7. Okay, now we're gonna flat the third, so it's a minor 7. Now we're gonna flat the fifth, so it's a minor 7 flat 5. And we're gonna double flat that 7, so it's a 6. And that's a G diminished 7. But E's on the top there. Or again, you can call it an F flat if you want to. Technically a double flat 7 or a 6. Yeah, double flat 7 is the same as a 6th degree. Okay. So in this case, an F flat. Okay, let's do that again. G major 7. G dominant 7. G minor 7. G minor 7 flat 5. That's half diminished, right? And then G fully dim 7. And then we're back to the root on top. Let me see hands. How many of you have that routine memorized and mastered and do it every day? Let's see some hands on there. That's something, I get asked questions a lot, like, what should I be practicing? I'm like, grip chords, 7th chord inversion routines, pentatonics, modes, arpeggios. Chord scales and arpeggios, right? That's what people usually, hopefully, would say. Wow, good. Many of you have, I see a lot of hands there and thumbs. Well, just 2, but I'm assuming there's more. So thanks for replying. Let me know in the comments if you don't have it down. I do have a lot of other studies. I actually would recommend, this is what we're gonna do today, is for Autumn Leaves, which is a great jazz standard. I usually say it's the jazz standard to learn and practice and memorize, but there are easier ones that I recommend first. So again, if you're on Patreon and you're watching this, don't apply it to Autumn Leaves yet. Stick to simpler songs. Stick to Sweet Georgia Brown. Stick to Minor Swing. Start with the 12-bar blues. Now I'm just going to give you a quick example because I have this written out, and I have it written out for minor blues too. It's just nice to get your feet wet, and start with vamps, 2-chord vamps, and I demonstrate that in the Autumn Leaves study, because Autumn Leaves is 2-5-1-4 in the major key, and then 2-5-1 in the relative minor. That's why it's so important, this song, the progression that is. But if I just demonstrate really quickly here on a 12-bar blues in the key of G, okay, just the old school blues, just only dominant 7th chords, not even a jazz blues, right? Just the dominant 7. Key of G, check it out. We have the G7, 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 G7. So I'm just kind of showing you how I'm navigating these inversions with the top note. C7. Back to G7. D7, C7, G7, D7, C7, G7, sorry, C7. I'll do it a little bit slower, G7. That way I can think about it. C7. See how I'm working these inversions? G7. D7. Maybe keep it simpler, just one shape. D7, G7, one shape. A little side slipping. C7. You get the idea, right? This is a great way to practice. D7, I'll use this shape. Maybe with the flat 7 on top. C7. G7. D7. C7. Then you could work in these inversions. Rome, good to see you. I look forward to our next lesson. C7. G7. D7. C7. So again, that was just a quick demonstration, maybe longer than I needed to, but hopefully it shows you how to practice these inversions. I love the 12-bar blues because it's just mastering dominant chords, and that was key of G. Then you could do it in the key of B flat, key of C, get those dominant 7th chords. And that, again, I'm gonna just kind of make a few suggestions. That requires some spelling. So if I said G7, you've got to go root, 3rd, 5th, flat 7. If I said C7, root, 3rd, 5th, flat 7. G7, D7, C7, G7. So again, you have to kind of be able to, I always say this, many of my Patreon members and students also know how important spelling really is. You got to just grab a piece of paper, just take your blues and say G, B, D, F for G7, C7, C, E, G, B flat. Because, that's our guide. That's, we're thinking about what notes we're targeting, we're hitting. Same thing with Autumn Leaves. Yeah, thanks. Done with E minor to D minor. Substitute, yeah, we could do substitutions too. Minor blues is great. minor swing, I've got a lot of chord inversion studies. Sweet Georgia Brown, I've got it. Fancier stuff for the B flat jazz blues. All of me, Autumn Leaves. Definitely you guys know Autumn Leaves because we're gonna hit that next. But again, that's what I want to make sure that you understand. It's just some of these tips as far as how to practice it, because that's often one of these questions that I'm getting is, what can I be practicing? But also important is, how do I practice, and what do you need to know to help you progress and not overlook any steps? Chris, good to see you. I'm glad you made it in today. Okay, so now if you guys haven't already got it, just grab these PDFs here. Now I'm going to open up the Autumn Leaves study. Okay, now after just kind of demonstrating on it 12-bar blues in G, now we want to do the same type of approach with Autumn Leaves. The Autumn Leaves is kind of a it's not an easy study. We want to make sure that we can navigate through A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7, F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and start practicing through this, and I'm going to help you guys learn this and learn how to practice it and memorize it. But again, if you don't have those 7th chord inversions down first, as I recommended and as I demonstrated, just on one root note, please do that, okay, and then hit the 12-bar blues. But let's practice it. Jeffrey, good to see you. Dave, what joke? The joke's on you. Hey, Jim, Yukon, good to see you. All right, so we're working through Autumn Leaves. Ready? We're gonna just kind of groove on A minor. I'm showing you how I would practice it even before hitting this worksheet. So we've got to do the A minor 7 inversions. And what I would recommend for practice is to look at this and to look at the first chord of each one of these 8-bar phrases. It's just the A section here. The first one is A minor 7 like this. This is the easiest one. I love this shape. 5, 5, 5, 5. It's also C6, right? For many of you swingers and uke players. C6, A minor 7, okay? That's with the root on top. The next one is this. And that's with the 3rd on top. And yes, it is a flat 3. It's C natural, okay? Some of you guys do it like this, I bet. You bar across here, and that's totally fine. I do it like this. And then the 5th on top, E. Okay, quick quiz. What's the flat 7 of A minor 7? Too slow. The chord's already gone by. We're already on D7. It's G natural. So again, the thing that I recommend that you do is to do this. A, C, E, G. E, C, A, and G. Just make sure you can arpeggiate on the first string there. So let's get a little loop going there. I've got my old Boss loop station. Maybe I should try to get an endorsement from Boss. Ready? Here we go. Root on top. We're just practicing. Minor 3rd on top. 5th on top. And you got it. Flat 7 on top. Little bossa funk feel for a Friday. Ready? Slow. Relax. Root on top. 3rd on top. These are just A minor 7s. 5th on top. Better late than never, Dave. And then G on top. That's a flat 7. And then the root on top. Two beats each. A minor 7. Okay, if you didn't do that, then make a note. Ready? Quarter notes. Okay, I want to see hands. Who could do quarter notes? A minor 7. Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying this, don't forget to do this. This helps me know if people are watching these and if the live streams are fun for you or not. Of course, if you're not enjoying it, then don't do that. But no, seriously, I'm just demonstrating how I practice it and how I recommend to students to practice these. Quarter notes is pretty extreme. You could even do these modal, stuff like this. I won't talk too much about this. Many of you have seen this already in my bonus lessons. For a modal vamp or feel, which is also great for summertime or autumn leaves, to do this. You take the minor 7 and another minor 7, a whole step above, and that's what makes it the Dorian mode, because the 2 and the 3 are minor 7s. We're in the key of G, by the way, the big picture, believe it or not. A minor 7, B minor 7, 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 A minor 7. It's a great study. You can do A minor blues or Dorian. So that's a really fun thing to do. That's a Dorian vamp, great for summertime. I know I already showed this on my summertime live stream, but check that out if you haven't already seen that. That should be archived on Patreon at the gold tier, summertime live stream lesson. It might even be up on YouTube still. Hey Dave, welcome. Good to have you here. So that's A minor 7, just a fun vamp. So I would not, to be honest, I want to practice that even more. So now I might even just go like from A minor 7 to G minor 7 as a practice vamp for myself. And this is what I'm going to recommend to you and to other students. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just back and forth. I'm not sure what I did there. Let's do that again. A minor 7 and B minor 7. G minor 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do it to F. We're gonna practice this. Ready? A minor 7, G minor 7. This is, and back to A minor 7. Same shapes, pretty easy, but it's just getting us to move around. A minor 7, say it. G minor 7. And A minor 7. Okay, you get the idea. You can make your own practice progressions. Use your lute pedal. Use your iReal Pro app or whatever you like to use for practicing. Okay, so now we need to do the D7. Okay, these are the steps I recommend before you just kind of dive right into the study and say, okay, I'm going to master the study. You got to kind of tackle it chord by chord and then piece it together. That's my recommendation. That's why I like the D7 for the blues. It's super fun, you know. Boom, chuck it, boom, chuck, boom, chuck it, 3, 4. Let me clear my lute. 1, 2, 3, 4. D7, root on top. Flat 7 on top. 5th on top. Notice I'm hitting the note first. 3rd on top. 5th on top. Flat 7. Root on top. 3rd on top. Improvise. Flat 7. You get the idea. Jam on one chord. Just have a lot of fun staying on one chord. And then, of course, that's getting you closer to the 12-bar blues. Then you're on G7. And back to D7. So again, I think that's really fun. It's just fun practicing. I mean, I have fun. But I don't want to, what's the word? I don't want to not have fun by trying to do Autumn Leaves too soon. So even though this is a lesson on this Autumn Leaves chord inversion study, I do recommend that you master the smaller chunks first before you attempt the bigger chunks. The next one, major 7. We already did this, but let's do it anyways. G major 7. Okay. G major 7, root on top. G major 7, 3rd on top. G major 7 with the 5th. And yeah, if you look at it's not included in this link, but it is on Patreon, of course, the chord study, Autumn Leaves chord study number 3, it uses the magic shape. Number 2 and number 3, I believe, does. So there's actually this shape that I like as a substitute for this, because this one is not so friendly to grab at a fast tempo. This is really friendly. Okay, so that's the shape here, magic shape. But for now, for this study, we'll master the real proper inversion. Major 7th root on top. Okay, and again, just with one chord for us to practice it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 3rd, 5th. Flat, major 7th. 5th. Root. I'll quiz you. Play along with me. 3rd. 5th. Major 7. 5th. Major 7. And root. Root. And the 5th. And major 7. Root. All right, so now we're going to do C major 7, because now we're putting it kind of into Autumn Leaves, where we have the 1 and the 4 chord. Yes, that's correct, Chris. I'm going to go back to Chris's comment there. The shape, I'm sorry, and I have this little quirky nickname for it on Patreon. Many of you know it now. I just call it the magic shape, the magic chord shape. And it is a 6/9 shape, just so you know. So instead of this G major 7 like this, I play this shape. It no longer has the major 7. It instead has a 6th degree. And it has the 9th degree instead of the root. So this shape right here with the 4 strings, it has no root and it has no major 7. The root would be here on the 5th string, this. Okay. Many of you know that from Bossa Nova Land and Django. 6/9 shape, and I do it like this. And I often use that as a sub for the major 7. Okay, that's again in my study number 2 and number 3, where I say the magic shape. For this study right here that I'm showing today on this live stream, Autumn Leaf study number 1, I'm not using the magic shape. Okay, Yuri, welcome. Good to see you here. So, but I wanted to just share that with you really quickly. Let's go from G major 7 to C major 7. That's 1 to the 4, and that's a diatonic to the key of G. Okay. I like the bossa feel, as you can see. It's nice to have a little groove to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and C major 7. Ready? C major 7. I recommend choose one shape root. Slide it up to the 8th fret root. Same shape. That's easy, right? Hopefully. Root. And C major 7. It's like Santana's Song of the Wind. And the 3rd. Slide it up to where the 3rd is for C major 7. Use the same shape. This is a good way to practice. Fifth. You're like, oh, I knew he was going to say that. And the 5th. And back. So D's the 5th. It's on the top. This is G's on top for the C. Major 7. That's F sharp for the G, and for the C it's B. For the G, major 7, F sharp. Love that. Love that. So beautiful, those major 7th inversions. How y'all doing? Are you having fun practicing chords with me today? Don't forget to do this if you're enjoying this live stream practice session. And that's kind of what Patreon is all about, if you're wondering. We just practice together. I share a lot of stuff that I love to practice and play, and stuff that I want to learn, and stuff that others are enjoying as well, from gypsy jazz to bossa nova to swing to Beatles, maybe some pop songs here and there too, for fun. Classic rock, of course. Let's practice G major 7 to C major 7, doing 2 chords, 1 chord per measure. 1, 2, 3, go. And then C major 7. And Graham, I got a head start. And G major 7. G major 7. C major 7. C major 7. G major 7. Notice I'm keeping in line, going this way. G major 7. G major 7. C major 7. We could do a little finger picking. We're navigating the chords progression. Glad you're having fun, Dave. Oh, the magic chord. Okay, I got to talk a little bit more about the magic chord. You know, check out the lesson on the study where the magic chord studies, and I have like extra worksheets too. I didn't attach it, but they're all on Patreon again. I've got a lot of stuff on Patreon. So the magic chord, I'm going to talk about this magic chord. It's just stacked fourth. It's ambiguous. It can also be called a minor 11 shape, depending on how you look at it. So for a G, I like to use this magic shape on the root on top and the fifth on top. So let's talk about this for a second. With the root on top, you have the root, you have the fifth, and you have the 9, and you got the 6. What is missing, this shape here, with the root on top, what is missing is the third, this note. But I'm only doing 4 notes. So it's really kind of ambiguous. We chose the 9 instead of the third. So listen to it in context, you'll see what I mean. This is off of G major 7, and I'll do the same on C major 7. That's what the band is playing, the band, aka my loop pedal, right? Check it out. G major, and then C. Magic shape, one shape. One shape. And actually you can use it. We can do some fancier things. But that's on my other worksheets and my other chord melody style lessons. And that's using that fourth shape, that magic shape, to go through the scale. But right now I'm just demonstrating again, using it in place of the root and the fifth on top, this one shape. So check it out, I'll leave it at that because that's on my other study and that's not what I'm focused on right now, but because I like to please everybody, I'm talking about this. G major 6-9, G major 7, G major 6-9, G major 7. See what I mean? That's how I like to do that. There is I like to go this, 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 and then for the C, same idea. Okay, I'll put on the backing track one more time, then we'll go on to the worksheet. C, G, really fun with that. It's beautiful. Isn't that funny, Chris? Yeah, exactly. This shape right here could be a G6-9 with the G and the B there to complete it, or it could be a C6-9 because we're not playing those lower notes. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's kind of ambiguous. So this shape here, E, A, D, G, can be used for G6-9 or C6-9. There's no root in the C6-9 here. Okay, it's a root fifth on top for the C6-9, but it's a root on top for the G. And then when you go up here, here's C6-9. So yeah, you can use it with the root on top or the fifth on top. That's how I like to think of it. That makes it easier for me to keep track of it. Well, now, congratulations. Now we have a 2-5-1-4. Now we have a 2-5-1 progression. So check it out. 2-5-1-4. That's, I would just loop something like that even. I'm back in the bossa mode here. Okay, good, Chris. I'm glad I can do that for you. Okay, so what I'm gonna loop here on my loop pedal here is A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7. That's 2-5-1, and then to the 4 chord in the key of G. And this is why I always say Autumn Leaves is such an important progression to learn and master, because this progression comes up all over the place, especially 2-5-1, right? I'm too short for the stool, so hold on, let me see if I can clean up that loop a little bit. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now, here we go. A minor 7, D7, G major 7. And now you can follow the worksheet, but I'm only gonna do that much and loop that for practice. I'm not gonna worry about the rest. I'm just showing you how to practice this. And again, D7, say it, G major 7, C major 7, A minor 7, D7, C major, and again, A minor 7. And sometimes I add little notes on if you didn't already see. Next one. G major 7, C major 7. I would call this route number 2. Third on top, flat 7 on top, third on top, major 7 on top. Third, D7, G major 7, C major 7. And again. You just want to get your fingers used to these. I'm really resisting using the diminished sub. I use a diminished sub on the dominant chord so much that it's hard for me sometimes just to play a plain old dominant 7. Some of you already know that, how much I love to use a dim 7, and a lot of gypsy jazzers, and of course, and jazz players in general, the diminished sub on the dominant chord, but I'm being true to it. It's written on the paper, being on the progression. And again, if you're just joining in, you're missing out on a good lesson today. I'm just going through this Autumn Leaves chord study number 1, but I'm not just, and now I'm just starting to go through it. I'm really talking about how to practice it and how to memorize these shapes by doing a lot of other stuff and looping little small progressions so that you really master these and have fun with it instead of trying to struggle and just only go straight to this etude. There's a lot of good stuff to extract, and you can apply this to all of your favorite jazz standards, blues, whatever, any songs. This almost sounds like, pop songs, like older songs like Just the Two of Us, Sunny, Isn't She Lovely? Killing Me Softly with his song, stuff like that. Such a sweet progression. So we've got the third. I'm just demonstrating this 2-5-1-4 progression. And now the fifth on top, root on top, fifth on top, root on top. See how it's kind of alternating there? 1, 2, 3, A minor, D7, G major 7, C major 7, and again. Oh, I did the magic shape. Now I'm mixing and matching because I want to practice this much and really have fun. I didn't show that shape down there. But you can improvise with this and have so much fun. Little magic shape just for fun. Fancy connecting the dots. Oh, we haven't done that one yet on C, but that's what I'm saying. Is like, I'm not worried about going through the whole chord progression quite yet. I just want to master that much to where I feel like I can have a lot of fun doing that. I'm like, okay, now what's next? Instead of feeling like I have to struggle to keep up with the changes. Let's do that a little bit more, you guys. Hopefully you're having fun with me. D7, G major 7. G major 7, C major 7, C major 7. I'm doing 2 per chord, per measure essentially. A minor 7. A minor 7. Let's just stick to back to the basic here. Here we go, last one. A minor 7. Flat 7, D7. G major 7. This is super melodic. You got the flat, the guide tone on top. I'm gonna just emphasize that. Isn't that sweet? Just great for soloing. With a shape. And then A minor 7. Now we've got all of them. Now we can practice this. A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7, A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7, A minor 7. I'm going to keep a line going up, playing through the changes. I did a little magic shape there. D7. Notice I'm creeping up higher, kind of creating a nice line. You can kind of leap around. And start to improvise. Very melodic. It's fun. Hours of fun. And this is again just kind of the beginning stages of it, because then we can start to superimpose. So like on the A minor, this is opening up a can of worms, you could play C major 7, and then you get an A minor 9. Then we can add some different colors. We can add the flat, do some diminished subs. Again, check out my other studies for this. I hope you're enjoying this. Thanks guys for doing this, and I'm glad you're enjoying it. So that's essentially what that study is, but now we have to finish it. Now we have to do the fun part, the 2-5-1 and the minor key. So the relative minor of the key of G major is what? I know many of you know this, but it gives me a chance to drink my coffee. What's the relative minor of G major? Thank you, Graham. And I'm noodling around in E minor, so thank you, Graham, again for doing that, saying that. 2-5-1 in E minor is F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7, E minor 7. So now you can look at this portion of the study. Over, well, my hand's too short, but right here. F sharp half dim. So now just look at autumn leaves, the last 4 bars of the A section. F sharp half dim, B7, E minor 7. And then E7 if you're gonna turn it around back to the top. Don't do the E7 if you're not gonna turn it around back to the A minor 7, because that's the 5 of the 2. So just keep it on E minor 7 or even E minor 6, okay? But that's going beyond this. Thank you. You're new to this group. Broke out. Thanks for joining in. 2-5-1 in a minor key. Here we go. Little swing. 2-5. We don't need a backing track. You got the little E. Sharp. 5. And here's E minor 6, just so you see it. And I do recommend that, as many of you already know, my favorite studies, chord studies, I recommend going minor 7, minor 6. Create that movement. Minor 7, minor 6. You'll see this in my my minor swing etudes and my other etudes too. Minor 7, minor 6. So check it out. 2, 5, 1, minor 7. 2, that was a special chord. Or actually this one. Then this one. I'm demonstrating minor 7 to minor 6. And then 2, 5, minor 7, 6. That's the E minor 7 to E minor 6. Such a beautiful sound. So again, that's something else to practice with these inversions. Minor 7 to minor 6, just like I want you to go major 7 to major 6. So let's practice this again. Do we even need a loop pedal? That's the thing, is by getting, good at this, we don't, you're playing the changes. Now, so how you guys doing on that? The minor is my favorite. That's why I said, that's my favorite. The minor. I love the minor keys. Love those E minors. Yeah. E minor. You play all your favorite blues, like see. Little fills, stuff like that too. Okay, so now we've got to practice the whole progression. Autumn Leaves, the A section. Again, this is now you can look at this, but I bet you don't even need to look at this worksheet, because if you've gone through all that we just did, the chord by chord breakdown, F sharp half dim, F sharp half dim, F sharp half dim, F sharp half dim, B7, 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 E minor 7, E minor 7, E minor 7, E minor 7. If you do those separately, again, like how I'm recommending, just kind of grooving off this 2, 5, 1 progression in the minor key, you're going to get good at it. I do want to say this. I really recommend, especially these, assuming you're on Patreon, go to my minor swing. Minor swing is perfect, because minor swing, I'm going to say this right now, minor swing focuses a lot on those minor 6 chords. A minor 6. But here's the theory of this. A minor 6 is equivalent to F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So that's a great way to learn the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord inversions. They're the same 4 notes, just a different naming of it. So, because I've had people, including myself, say, I'm not good at those minor 7 flat 5 chords. I say, rename it. So you see F sharp minor 7 flat 5, but you're thinking A minor 6. Then you get good at those. Then it's going to be D minor 6. E7. And that now leads us to the minor swing studies, because it's just 3 chords. A minor 6, D minor 6, E7. So that, A minor 6 equals F sharp minor 7 flat 5. You're going to get really good at those minor 6 inversions, and you're going to master those minor 7 flat 5 inversions. They're the same. They're the same 4 notes, just a different way to think of it. So F sharp half dim, F sharp half dim, F sharp half dim, F sharp half dim, that's A minor 6, okay? It's such a great, so check out my chord studies on minor swing for that, okay? Okay, that's all I have to say for that. Let's practice. I got a private lesson coming up with an awesome student, Diamond Tier. You know who you are. So I'm going to end in a few minutes so I can get ready for that. That means fill up my coffee. All right, today's a good day of private lessons, so I'm glad you guys joined in for this session. I'll do another one this weekend, live stream. Here we go, the whole progression. Do we even need a backing track at this point? Probably not. Let's see. The falling leaves drift by my window. The autumn leaves, red and gold. E7. I see your lips, summer kisses. I see the hands I used to hold. E7. Ba 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Ba da da da. Bum bum bum. I cheated. I used the diminished sub. Did you guys catch that? Now I am cheating because now I'm using the magic shape too. So, oh, Dave didn't catch that. So what I did was this. I went A minor 7, D7, G major 7, C major 7, F sharp half dim, B7, E minor, and then I went like this. For the E7, I went like this. The diminished is magic, as Pat Martino says. It's automatic. It's, you know, this one shape, you're like, oh, you slide it 3 frets. And again, I don't want to go over stuff. Well, I kind of am. That's not on this particular worksheet. But again, if you guys are on Patreon, please check out Autumn Leaves Chord Study number 2 and number 3. You're gonna be like, "Ooh, this is magic. These are how the tricks are explained by doing those chord subs, the magic shape, and the dim 7." I think I even start to use some augmented stuff as well. Hey, you're welcome, Kababa. Cap Baba. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, that's way too fast. That was like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, guys, for joining me today. Red and gold. Diminish it. See your lips. The summer kisses. I see the hands I used to hold. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining in.